On the program this morning, we're looking at CVFF, a strategic tool for enhancing Nigeria's maritime sector. We're talking about this because we know that the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund has been a major talking point for those who are in the industry for over 2 decades. Now, this is a fund that was established as far back as 2004, but as we speak, there is no disbursement. But the good news, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, they have pledged to begin disbursement of the over $700 million Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, by August 2025. Now, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dayo Mubriola, disclosed this, that was about 2 weeks back, in an overnight visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration. And there he hinted that the process for the disbursement has reached an advanced stage in strict compliance with the directive of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. That's going to set the tone for our discussion this morning, because we want to look at it. Even though it has been announced that there will be disbursement, how is this going to be carried out? So let me bring my guests to the microphone. Joining me on the phone line, I have Captain Tajudeen Alao, who is the President, Nigerian Association of Master Mariners. Captain Alao, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Victor, how are you today?
Very, very good. Very good.
Good morning, all listeners. Good morning.
All right, then. Joining him in the studio this morning is Otunba Frank Ogunojemite, who is President, Africa Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics in Nigeria, AFLON. Nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Captain Alao, I know that I spoke with you last, that was sometime late last year, and of course at that time you gave a subdued but rather optimistic view of the maritime industry. Let's just gauge things and find out. This is the 5th month of 2025. So how are things faring with the maritime sector?
Good morning to you. As I said last year, and I still maintain that stand today, I commend the political will of this administration, the Minister of the Blue Economy, Transport and Blue Economy, the Honorable, the Chief Executive of NIMASA, Dr. Mubriola.
Right.
They are committed to it. The framework has been laid, and just last week or this week, the policy framework is being, signed by Mr. President and laid on the table for everybody to see.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the CVF. I'm just asking about the industry generally. Your perception.
Yes, that's what I'm saying now. So the industry is happy.
Okay.
Because with all these activity, positive signals coming in from left and right,
things are
the
going well.
industry is hopeful.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing. When there is hope, there is life.
All right.
We are okay.
All right. Let me hear from Otunba Frank Ogunojemite. What's your own assessment of the industry?
Well, from my home perspective and for a perspective of the probably importers and the freight forwarders, I want to say the thing is dowsing because the dollars is not stable, and each time there's increment, we have increment in the duty we paid for our importers as well. And if you look at the duty, the custom duty itself is going up. People are crying. So the industry is not what we expected. We are struggling as far as the freight forwarders concerned and importers. Okay. So my perspective.
All right then. So let's just jump into the subject of discourse, which is the CVFF. Captain Alao, you have been a master mariner for almost 40 years. So when we talk about the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, what are we referring to?
We are saying that money to support the ship owners and shipping within our EEZ, because it's localized. It's not international shipping. So we need the money as impetus to catalyze the industry, because the major players in this area is very huge. They are the foreigners.
Right.
And even as of today. So if our people can come in and play, the multiplier effect will be localized, and the money will stay within our economy and affect other areas.
So as good as the fund is, I mean, set up in 2004, this is 21 years down the line, it has yet to be disbursed. Otunba Frank, what are the issues? What's causing the delay?
Well, I want to believe, generally, if you look at the Nigeria economy and the for even the maritime, the situation of the country too. We are yet to get there. I have to be honest with you. But of course, I give kudos to the present government. They are doing their best. But if you look at the maritime, it's not really. You look at it, it's international business.
Right.
That you have to think about other country, what's happening there, and we have to operate on that international best practices. So Nigeria is just moving there. Remember, the lot of things we have to get right in Nigeria, which now we are beginning to get. Look at the situation at the port, the infrastructures, the road. We are just getting it there. So a lot of things needs to be put around the port operations, not only about the ships, the vessel as well.
Right.
So if you remember in 2019, IMA visited Nigeria. The lot of things was addressed then that we need to get. So we are getting there, and we can do better.
Right. So, but so many things are causing the delay. So that's what I'm asking. The fund was established as far back as 2004, but this is 2025. It's yet to be disbursed.
Yes, but you remember this kind of money has been disbursed before, about 2 to 2.5 million, which was mismanaged.
Okay.
Yes. So hence caused the delay. Now, even like we are not against that the money should be disbursed, but we are saying a lot of things need to be taken to operation before it's being disbursed, especially the credit rating of these vessel owners.
Okay.
Ship owner is very important. Some of them in restrictions, some of them is moribund, and some of them they are already in the loan from even offshore loans. So the government has to look at the perspective, the vision, the reason why they want to disburse that money, because it's to support them. But this money could be diversified. That's what happened the other time. We couldn't achieve anything.
Right. Let me get back to Captain Alao. So, do you think there was a mistake? Was there an error in setting up the fund? I mean, if you set up something, it's supposed to meet up with its ideals. And now that it's just held in the bank, in its savings, or perhaps in central bank perpetually, was there an error in setting it up?
Look, there was no error. The idea was very laudable. Very, very laudable. And then the parameters were not set properly. That is the aspect I will talk about it. And there was no deliberate, no political decision on the part of government. It's the government of Vietnam, because the fund, remember, the fund is domiciled with the National Assembly and the Minister of Transport. So the past leadership, there was no seriousness to make use of this money.
Right.
But these people, the past administration and these ones, they try to cross the T and the I's and then say that, look, this one should be the stop. And it's even very relevant at this time. So it's better late than never.
So explain to us then, Captain Alao, you have been in that sector. I mean, you are a master mariner. You sailed ships to different parts of the world. Of what benefit will this fund be to a Nigerian ship owner?
Shipping is all, and the safe movement of ships.
Okay, so hold on a second. We're losing that connection. Can you hear me now? Hello, Captain Alao.
I can hear you.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I say shipping is providing services, and the service is only by ship. If you have cargo, there is no ship, you cannot. What we are saying, the foreign players, they are chartering ship and they bring the ship to use in our waters. Why can't we be in a position to buy the ship, and you can see the cost will be lower? They don't own ship. They charter ship. They are charterers on their boats, and they bring the ship into our waters to use.
Right.
So if we have support from government or from the contribution that we have made to buy, to own ship and run it properly according to international standard, then Nigeria is better off, technology-wise, commerce-wise. That is why we believe the fund should be disbursed to the right players.
Okay. All right. When we talk about the players, let me get to those who are the stakeholders as well. Otunba Frank, Ogunojemite, you are a major exporter and importer as well. Of what benefits would it be to you as those who bring in things and bring out things?
Yeah, like I said, we supporting the fund, but other things need to be addressed as well. For instance, if this money should be used appropriately, it will reduce capital flights. because, like he said, most of these vessels are owned by foreigners. At the end of the day, they take the money, which could be able to speed or to encourage the economy of this country. One. And secondly, the cost of the cargo bringing to the country will be relatively low. All things be equal. That's if they, because there are a lot of issues there. You know, you talk about anchorage, a lot of pirates, a lot of issues on the sea as well. So when they are looking at disposing this money, we must look at other factors that will be impediments to all this. And we must not repeat the mistake of them when about $2.5 million was squandered.
Right. Okay, so you're saying that if this fund is properly implemented and we have Nigerian ships, that means bringing in goods will be much cheaper. Is that what you're saying for the consumer?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be able to have positive effect.
And our national carrier as well.
Right. Okay then. So if that is the case, I need you to just put some perspective to this, Captain Alao. As we speak today, how much does a ship cost? Because I'm looking at the amount that has been saved so far. The DG of NIMASA said over $700 million. Can $700 million purchase one ship?
Oh yes. You have ships of different sizes, from $6 million to $15 million to $30 million to $40 million. You know, even to $100 million plus for gas carrier built of steel. But it depends on the size of ship and the type. A tanker in Turkey you could get for $12 million.
Okay.
A supply boat in China you could get for $8-9 million.
Right. So
and you could get ship of $22 million. It depends on the sizes. For the coastal passage, we need the big one, 40-something thousand deadweight. We need the medium one above that, 45 to the. We need 20,000 deadweight.
Okay.
You know, and the ones we need maybe 10,000 metric ton deadweight.
So obviously the fund is available. I mean, with this.
Well, the fund will take it off.
Right.
Quite a lot.
Okay.
We change the terrain. We change the game plan. How many ships are NNPC chartering for now? So imagine if we're able to put in 5 ships owned by Nigerian owners. It means a lot.
Right.
The ship is owned by us direct. It's not chartered on bareboat basis. But those who have the financial background abroad, the NNPC doesn't pay as upfront. They pay well after service, and they give you 3 months contract. So once the ships are tied, the ship owners, operators are tied to the services. There are 2 caveats. One, in the Master Act, the cargo of government, most especially the PMS, it must be given to indigenous players. Okay. And then the terms of our trade must change from FOB to CIF. So those 2 caveats is what our National Assembly should enforce.
Right.
To change FOB to CIF.
Okay.
And to enforce the law that is already in place about cargo reservation for Nigerian registered ships and companies. Okay,
we'll get to the operational modalities of all of this, but let's rewind a bit and look at some of the trends that we've been recording over the years. I know in 2020, the then Minister of Transportation, Honorable Rotimi Amici, also announced at the forum precisely the Shippers Appreciation Night that the then President has given approval for the disbursement of the CVFF, and that he was liaising with NIMASA and NSC, Nigerian Shippers Council, to look into the modalities of its disbursement. But that never came to be. I also know that in 2022, the then Minister for Transportation too, Honorable Muazu, also announced that the CVFF fund has been, will be disbursed. And he even mentioned some banks, about 5 of them, that will be the primary lending institutions, right? And that never came to be as well. Now that Dr. Omobriella is also announcing that they're coming up with the fund, can this be said to be fully, have we reached that point now to say, yes, this is Uhuru, or is it going to be same script, different cast? Otunba, Frank Ogunojemite, what do you think?
Well, I want to believe that this time around the fund will be disbursed. But my concern that a lot of apparatus needs to be put in places. And a lot of other things that are impeding the operation must look at it. We must look at, and there must be a lot of stakeholder engagement. For instance, the shippers, Nigerian shippers can be talking about must be involved. Then NPA too must be on their toes. Because a lot of influences, policies, and robbing mind are affecting most of the decisions or the policy the government is trying to implement. So if all these things could be put in place, I believe this fund will be released and it has to be monitored. I have to be honest with you, because it's easier saying things than being done. That's my perspective on that.
All right,
I hope so. Yeah.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I mean, this morning we're looking at CVFF, a strategic tool for enhancing the maritime sector in Nigeria. And I have Captain Tajudeen Alao, who is the president of the Nigerian Association of Master Mariners. And he's being joined in the studio this morning by Otunba Frank Ogunojemite, who is president of AFLONG. All right, if you want to join the conversation, feel free. 080-99-120-777 and 09153877127. All right, so August has been mentioned by Dr. Mobiriola as the date when they will start the disbursement. Now, what should the process be? I mean, Captain Alao, how can this be actualized, really? He has said it's going to be, changing from 5 banks and they are increasing it to 12. That will be part of the primary lending institutions. How will it pan out?
Thank you very much. I can tell you authoritatively that stakeholders' engagements have taken place. It is for the Nigerian players to put the house in order, to be serious. What are they ready to receive the fund? On the government side, the government is ready to disburse. The minister is committed. The National Assembly is carried along. And for the first time, the minister, unlike what happened with Amechi, saying he wants to form a national carrier himself. This money is going direct to the stakeholders who this administration have engaged in the past 2 years. So and the modalities, crossing of the T's and the I's, is already done. So I believe definitely the money shall be disbursed.
Okay.
But as I said, those areas of companies, the technical side, the finance and the legal transaction managers, they are going to be between the master, the banks, and the borrowing party, the ship owner.
All right.
So there will be that technocrat in between that for check and balance, which was not there before.
So will that not cause a delay? I'm just curious, Otunba Frank, will that not cause a delay? By the time you begin to say, look, bring this or bring that, I remember Captain Iheanacho, who's former Minister for the Interior, he has said it on this program, that the interest rate that charged ship owners in Nigeria is so high, exorbitantly high, that it might put people out of business. I mean, if you begin to charge them 16% on interest, don't you think that might affect the lending process?
Well, it's better to be delayed than to be in a hurry and we didn't get it right. Because our concern is that we don't want the mistake of the other time to repeat itself. So it's better things take in perspective. However, if you think the interest rate is higher, you are not being forced to take this money. So when you are ready to take this money, you must be able to have your own, the way your modalities to achieved. Because the government is using it to at least to inject this money to the economy of this country, so for investment return. So I think that will not be delay, to be honest, but the necessary things has to be together before this money should be disbursed.
All right.
And to be monitored, to be honest.
Okay, then messages coming in here for you. 080-99-120-777. This one says, good morning, nice topic we have there. One big concern is corruption. How do we make sure CVFF doesn't end up in the wrong hands? Olayinka is sending that one in. Thank you so much. Otunba Frank, I think you've expressed that earlier on. Is that not correct?
Yes, that's where we're talking about the credit rating. Because in abroad, everybody, they can check your credit rating anytime. The CBA, the Federal Ministry of Finance, should put this one in perspective. It's time they go digital. So, in fact, even some people address are not being correct as individual. So, and if all these people, they do fraud, they pretend to be a normal. So by the time this money is being disbursed, we don't want the issue of the other one. Like he's talking about corruption. There's not going to be a corruption, because whoever take this money, there must be a lot of modality in perspective that has to show the reason, and that's why there must be a committee to monitor this money, how it's been disbursed, the purpose, and there must be periodical assessments on this.
Okay, then, so I'm looking at the performance of the economy as it is right now, Captain Alao. I mean, by the time somebody takes a $30 million loan as part of the CVFF, and the economy is not really doing well, or perhaps is not able to really get as much contract as he should, paying back becomes a problem. Wouldn't that affect the fund itself?
Yes, it will, because it's supposed to be a revolving loan. As people are paying, other people can access the loan. But shipping is a cycle, it's a system, and this is supposed to be a single-digit loan, just like the Bank of Industry, not commercial loan. Even though the bank will, in the past, the bank too, they could not monitor the ship because they only look at normal business rating, not technicalities. If the government put the right perspective, law, local content law, the reservation of cargo, the change of FOB to CIF, these things will be engaged.
Right.
And the money goes to the accounts of the primary lending account, and the money is not allowed to be diverted. Just like whoever is giving you the contract knows where to pay the money to. Everything must be closed tight. Then there will be monitoring of money that you get job and go and pay the money to another account.
Right.
And you go on holidays in Greece. No. Shipping is international. You can be monitored.
Okay.
The ships can be tracked better these days.
All right.
So
I think your thoughts are being echoed by this person. He says, good morning, Victor. Are there key laws or bottlenecks that still needs to be addressed for the CVFF to make real impact? You didn't put your name, but thanks so much. I think he's just speaking along your lines as well, Captain Alao. This one here says, good morning, everyone in the studios. Will CVFF disbursement affect only ship owners, or do you see indirect benefits for freight forwarders, dock workers, and others as well? Fatai Ibrahim is sent that one in. Thank you so much. You want to respond to that, Otunba, Frank?
Well, definitely what goes and come around is going to affect each and every one of this country. Because by the time the cost of bringing cargo in is lower, and they were able to restrict the capital flight and the money come within the economy of this country, and also it will provide employment. So, and also you remember that trade facilitation is very important. Like like it's being said that it's a revolving business. So it's definitely coming out and affect freight forwarder as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So impediment updates from the control room says recovery of the 2 containers that fell down somewhere around the inner part of Ikorodu is very much in progress, taking a lane from the BRT corridor, but all traffic movement inwards Ogolonto and Antikeni are diverted through the BRT, both at Ogolonto and Agric U-turn. So take note of that. That recovery process is ongoing as we speak right now. 08099120777. We're talking CVFF, that's the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. This one says, hello, what kinds of vessels or businesses should be prioritized for this fund? This is coming in. Look, it says tankers, fishing boats, ferries, coastal ferries, or what? If you're in, he sent that one in from his seller. If you're in, thanks so much. So, what kind of vessels are we talking about, Captain Alao?
Look, it is stated in the Cabotage Act itself. The services where the 2% levy is collected from. But looking at our environment, we can also include other shit, like floating offshore production platforms. Any boat performing activities in our waters between Lake Chad and EEZ, any asset whereby the government will take in 2% levy, also should be entitled to take loan.
Okay. Anyway, he's talking about EEZ, the economic exclusion zones, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, this one says...
And rivers, brackish waters.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, let me just take this one in before we round up. This one says, good morning. Do you think this fund can trigger the revival of the shipbuilding and repairs in Nigeria? You didn't put your name, but thank you so much. So, is shipbuilding is it part of this fund?
Yes. Because if they are providing services too, they will pay. Because we need shipyard to service those boats when they are in service. Otherwise, they will go abroad and they will take the same money we are trying to protect away.
All right, so let's round this off. So, Otunba Frank, sincerely speaking, do you think this fund will see the light of day?
Yes, definitely it has to, because it's high time that the maritime economy gets a happy hands, and it is be very proper, and is even elevate Nigeria as well if they can revive this. But my concern is disbursement, monitoring, transparency, and the proper usage of the money. That's our own concern, and they shouldn't look at that too. The government should look at other things that can enhance the port operations. It should not be limited to that as well. Of course, that's my concern. And they shouldn't forget the multimodal transportation is necessary as well in the port corridors.
Right.
We have to look at that. So.
Okay, all right. Even as a roundup, I have this message. Kim says, why 21-year-old CVFF failing Nigerian Maritime? That's a very big question. It says corruption, suspicion, and insincerity of purpose were the main obstructive and despicable factors blocking the widely publicized Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund CVFF since 2004, when it was legislated 21 years ago under ex-president Obasanjo, from whose regime down to his successive admins. It says CVFF was borrowed from the European and American domains, where it worked productively for the major purpose of strongly supporting indigenous investors with meaningful financial muscle to more or less initiate, build, and favorably empower indigenous ship owners and vessels. That borrowed concept would have entrenched innumerable young and old Nigerians to get sustainable works in the economy of maritime industry that global. Anyway, this is a lot really, which I cannot really finish. But thank you so much for sending in your concerns. But let's round this up. Captain Alao, quickly, your parting thoughts. What do you think about the future of CVFF? Quickly.
Thank you. The CVFF is a lifeline. That's what it's meant to be, and that's what it shall be. The government is contributing, and the ship owners have contributed. And the fact that there is no corruption, the money is still intact, even though after 24 years. So we should commend the government of being transparent enough.
All right.
We need the money must be disbursed. Thank you.
We'll leave it at that for now. It's nice having you on the phone line. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course to you too, Frank Ogunojemite, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, then, so I've been speaking with two presidents. One is the president of the Nigerian Association of Master Mariners, Captain Tajudeen Alao, and I've also been speaking with Otunba Frank Ogunojemite, who is the president of AFLONG. We have to go. The program has been produced by Mike James, and I say a big thank you to Dayo Anthony, also to Rebecca Adamu, who's Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. You can connect to the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. Maximum thanks goes to Remy Aluko and Okwemi Shodunke of our social media unit. Same for our executive producer, Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. I'm out. Stay very much within. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well.